Hi, and welcome to episode 43 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, November 2nd, 2018. This is a podcast all about my life as a knitter, a crocheter, a hand dyer of yarn, and a sewist. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts. You can find me on Ravelry at Noble Character. And I also have a group for this podcast on Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that Ravelry group, you will be able to find the show notes for this episode as well as previous episodes and several other chatter threads. So I would love it if you would join us over there. You can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. I am currently hosting a knit along with the ladies of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. It is called the Be My Neighbor Cow, and it is for any cardigan that you would like to knit or crochet in any size. And it is in honor of Mr. Rogers, who used to wear cardigans that his mother knitted for him. And it is also including any gift or charity projects that you would like to make. I have a finished objects thread and a chatter thread in the Ravelry group, so I would love it if you would join in that knit along. And it is running until the end of the year. I am drawing a winner from the finished objects thread at the beginning of each month. The first podcast that I record of each month, I am announcing a new winner from the finished objects thread. So I'm going to announce a winner today, and then there will be a winner the first podcast recorded in December, and then also the first podcast recorded in January. So please feel free to continue to enter your finished objects in that thread, and I will continue to draw a new winner at the beginning of each month. So I used random number generator to choose a winner this morning before I started recording this podcast, and it came up with number 55, who is Rebecca, also known as Happy Homemaker 05. Congratulations, Rebecca. I was very excited to see your name pop up as the winner this month. I am friends with Rebecca on Instagram as well, so I was so excited to see your name pop up. She made a gorgeous sweater for her husband that she entered in the finished object thread, and it's absolutely gorgeous and looks like it was well received by your husband as well, so that's super exciting. And the prize that you have won is in one of my drawstring bags. So whenever you order yarn from my Etsy shop, it always comes in a project bag like this that I hand stamp with my logo. And Rebecca, I'm going to be sending you a skein of my Observe colorway. So here it is. It's a nice tan base, and then it has lots of different speckles of plum, navy blue, deep orange, and some browns as well. Here's a little spot of brown. And it is on my Twinkle Toes base. So this is my Gold Stellina base. It's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% Gold Stellina, fingering weight. All of my colorways are named from a proverb. And this one is named from Proverbs 23, verse 26, which says, "My son, give me your heart and let your eyes observe my ways." And as I drew the prize, and then I went and grabbed this stitch marker to go along specifically for Rebecca. So this is all of my yarn also comes with a stitch marker or a progress keeper. It can be used for either. And this one has a little letter R on it for Rebecca. So I like to customize those progress keepers if possible. But I have several other charms that I use for my progress keepers as well, so they are not always a letter. But anyway, this will be coming to you, Rebecca. I will get in contact with you to make sure that I have your address. So this will be coming in the mail to you soon, Rebecca. Congratulations again, and thank you so much to everybody who has entered so far. Continue to enter your finished objects. I would like to mention that it has been so nice for those of you that have entered your finished objects. If you have made if you've made a cardigan, then that's kind of obvious. It's nice if you want to put in there who the cardigan is for, just so we know. But especially for those that are gifts or charity knits, I didn't put this in the requirements. It's not a requirement, but it would be nice if you would just add a note as to, who the gift is for or what charity it's going to. It just is kind of nice. There's been a few objects that people have put in and they don't put any description. And so, it's of course on a, there's no way to prove that you're giving these things as gifts anyway. So it's not like I'm going to be very stringent, but it would just be nice if you could provide that information of who you are giving the different projects that you're making to. That would just be nice to see. So anyway, continue to enter your projects, and it's fun to knit along with you all as we are making cardigans and gift and charity projects. So continue to do that as we enter the holiday season as well. There should be a lot of gift making opportunities coming up in the next few months. So today I am wearing my Brioche Ponchology, which is a design by Suzanne Summer, also known as Sosu Knits. And I made this earlier this year when I was hosting the Brioche Knit Along, and I really enjoy this poncho. It is super cozy. It's made in my worsted weight base, 2 of my worsted weight bases. I have 2 worsted weight bases, and I used a combination of both of those, but it's all in my own hand-dyed yarn, Noble Character Crafts yarn, and I just used lots of different scraps and different pieces that I had left over from other projects, as well as a few full skeins to make this poncho, and I absolutely love it. I am actually wearing the wrong side right now, which I love equally as well as the right side, and anyway, I just really love this, and I'm so glad that I get to wear it now that the weather has cooled off. I'm really enjoying getting a little bit of use out of this. So I have a few finished objects to share with you today. The first one is the Tweety Trees hat, and this is a beautiful free pattern by Malia Papas. This is the second time that I have knitted this pattern. The first time I made it, I got the hat turned out a little bit too big for what I had wanted. This is a gift that I am giving to one of the gentlemen that we go to church with, who helped us out quite a bit while I was ill with my appendectomy and recovery time. And so this is going to him. He is a tree cutter for a living. He has a tree cutting business. And so I thought that was really fitting that I could make this tree hat for him. I hope that he will appreciate it. And he's out in the cold a lot, so I'm hoping that this 100% wool hat will keep him toasty this winter. It is made using worsted weight yarn. I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. The tan color is Mink Heather, and the green is Forest Heather, and it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. So the first time I made this, I used I don't remember what the needle recommendation is on the pattern, but I used the needles to get the correct gauge, which was 20 stitches to 4 inches, I think. I'll correct myself down below if I'm wrong, but I believe it was 20 stitches to 4 inches, but it turned out too large, and so I went down 1 needle size on every section. So I used a US size 5 3.75 millimeter for the ribbing. I used a US 9 5.5 millimeter for the color work, and then for the main body I used a US 7 4.5 millimeter. And the fit is a lot better this time. It still is not very little. I think it's a great fit though. It still has some room in here, but I think it'll be a really good fit for him. I think I would like it personally for myself to have this kind of a fit. So I'm hoping that it will fit him as well. That it'll be a good fit for him as well. And hopefully he will enjoy this and get a lot of use out of it this winter. So I'm excited to be able to gift this to him. Hopefully on Sunday when we go to church, I'll get to gift this to him there. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. Beautiful. It's just a beautiful pattern. I really love the simplicity of it, as I've said before, and I just think it works up so nicely. Oh, in the original pattern, there are crosses in the color work right here in between the trees, but I eliminated that because I just didn't care for the looks of it. I think also there is some striping in the ribbing in the original pattern as well, but I eliminated that as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with this, and Yeah, I think I may very well make more of this pattern, especially now that I have the fit down to the right, the right way, the right fit that I like. So I will probably be making this pattern again sometime because it's just real simple and beautiful and fun to work up. All right, the second finished object that I have for you, I haven't shown in a few weeks. This is a baby blanket that I was making for our church ministry. I am part of our prayer shawl ministry, which also includes us making baby blankets for mothers and their new babies. And so I started working on this project when I was ill. As I was recovering from my surgery, a lady from church had brought over a few different skeins of yarn for me to work on some baby blankets while I was laid up for quite a while and had lots of extra knitting time. So I had started this project while I was ill, and then I put it down for a while because there was a specific mother that I was waiting to have a baby, and I wasn't sure if she was going to have a boy or a girl, and she ended up having a girl. And so a few weeks ago I had shown you the pink blanket that I ended up making for her, and so then I had put this one down because I thought, well, since she had a girl, I want to make her a pink blanket because I had also been brought some pink yarn. And anyway, then I just recently picked this back up and finished it. So this is the Turning Points blanket, which is a free pattern by Yarnspirations. And it is really a fun pattern. I love the geographic look of it. I modified it a little bit. The original pattern has the squares a little bit larger than this, but I only worked up to 30 stitches before I started decreasing. I don't remember the original pattern, but I think it goes up to 50 something stitches before the decreases start. So it makes much larger squares, but since I wanted this to be a baby blanket instead of a bigger blanket, which the original pattern is a larger throw sized blanket, so I just changed the size of the square so that I could use the same layout that the pattern showed, but get a smaller size. And the yarn that I used is, the blue is Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. Look at that mess. That's what's left of it. In the Scuba colorway. And since it is the ombre, it has a quite a slow change, like the color changes really slowly. And so I was able to make all these different shaded squares. And so that worked out really well for the pattern because I was able to fade them from the dark to the light. And I like the effect of that. I think that's pretty cool. And, a lot of times babies are drawn to things that are geometrical or, just have a high contrast. And hopefully this will appeal to a baby. They will enjoy looking at it or playing on it or however it gets used. The white is just the Walmart brand yarn, Mainstays Basic Yarn in white. So both of these are 100% acrylic, worsted weight. I used a US size 8 4mm, is that right? No, 5mm needle for this, which is what the pattern called for. And I'm really happy with how it turned out in general, but I will not make this pattern again. It was very time consuming, and I don't love how the squares, when they're joined, I don't love how they look. I think it just kind of looks a little sloppy in the way that they are, I don't know, like the holes right here. I don't love it. It just looks a little messy. I also really don't, so for the border, okay, first of all, you have to make all the squares and then piece them all together, which is okay. I really don't mind doing that, but it is a lot more time consuming, and knitting in general, of course, is a lot more time consuming. This is the first knitted baby blanket I've ever made. I've only done crocheted blankets in the past, which go so much faster. That pink one that I made only took me, I think, 2 days to make, and this one, I don't know how long it took me, but it took me a long time. Anyway, so it's a lot more time consuming, and then the border is also knitted on. You pick up stitches along each side and knit 4 rows of garter, but it's just it's really hard to get that to be nice. I don't know, like that is kind of going in. I probably should have picked up more stitches right there, but I can't really tell if it's gonna lay nicely until I've, bound it off, and then I can kind of see how it lays. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not super experienced yet. I have only been knitting for a year and a half, I guess. So I don't know. I think crocheting baby blankets is just what I prefer. And I also prefer crocheting on borders. I did crochet on the border for the 2018 collaboration Afghan, and that went really well. It was very time consuming, but it did lay pretty nicely. This one, I'm just not super happy with how the border is laying. It is acrylic, and so I didn't block it because I don't think that it would really benefit from blocking very much. So if I had made this using wool, it probably I could have shaped it a little bit better. So that's another thing. But anyway, it just doesn't lay. So here you can kind of see that corner curls up a bit. I don't know. I'm not super happy with it, but I think that it will be well received from whoever receives it. I don't know who this is going to. This is just going to go into storage for right now, and I will let the ladies at church know that I have a baby blanket that is available. This could work for either a boy or a girl, really. And so I'll just let them know that I have a baby blanket available for whenever a new baby is born, and hopefully whoever receives it will love it. All right. So those are my 2 finished objects. I have cast on quite a few new projects this week, which has been exciting. All 3 of these projects, I have had the yarn caked up for these for over 2 months. And it's just been sitting over on my table behind me here, waiting for me to cast them on. And I've just been getting so distracted with other projects. I don't know why exactly, but I mean, different things have come up that I wanted to make. So anyway, I've also been super excited to make these projects, so I'm very excited to have them on the go now. The first one is in this beautiful, cute chicken bag that I received from Kay of the Bead Sisters podcast. I really love it, and I like to match my projects with my bags. So in here I have a red project, so that's why I chose this bag. So in here I have a cardigan that I am making for my son. I am so excited to be making this. He's excited to have it, so that makes it even more special. So I am making the Double Dutch Child's Cardigan for the second time. This is the second time I've made this pattern. It is a gorgeous pattern by Mina Phillip, also known as Knitting Expat. And look at that. Oh my goodness, I just love this pattern so much. I think it is so sweet. Isn't it beautiful? I just love that cable down the back, and then there's also cables that run along both sides here. So pretty. I love this pattern. So this is for my 5-year-old son, and so I am making the 4 to 6 year size. I am using Noble Character Crafts yarn, again, my own hand-dyed yarn in the Scarlet colorway. And it is on my Josephine base, which is a DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the first time I've used my Scarlet colorway, which I love. And so I'm so excited to be able to use this. I believe I cast this on Sunday, and today's Friday. So I've been working pretty monogamously, well, not completely. As you'll see, I've cast on a few other things, but I have been working on this pretty consistently because I would really like to get this finished for him so that he can wear it this fall and winter. I did make it a little bit shorter than what the pattern calls for. I knit the body for 7 inches from the underarm before I started the ribbing, just because that's what looked like it. I kept trying it on my son, and I thought that that fit him pretty well. I didn't want it to be too long on him, but I think this size will still fit him really well even into next year. I'm hoping. He's pretty small for his age, and so I'm thinking that this will fit him hopefully for both this winter and next winter is my hopes. I'm planning to make the sleeves a little bit longer so that I can cuff them this year and then maybe, roll them down or, lay them flat next year if if the sleeves get a little bit shorter or his arms get longer. Anyway, This is knit at a gauge of 22 stitches to 4 inches. I am using US size 6 4mm for the main body and US size 4, which are 3.5mm for the ribbing. It is knit from the top down, as you can probably see. I'm just on the ribbing. I need to knit the ribbing for 2 inches before I bind that off. So it's going along really well, and I'm very happy with it and excited for him to have this sweater this winter. So I absolutely love it. I highly recommend this pattern. It comes in, you know, from newborn to, I think there's one more size larger. It goes up to 8 years, I believe, for the different sizes. So there's a wide variety of sizes that you can make it in. And of course, then she also has the adult version of this pattern as well. So anyway, I highly recommend this pattern, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The next project that I have casted on is in my Tanny Casey project bag, which I love, and I've got my beautiful enamel pin on here from Twill and Print, and it is also a row counter, which is I'm actually using right now because I am counting the rows in the pattern right now. I'm at a part where I need to count which row I'm on, so it's coming in handy. And I am making the Boho Blush Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And this is the first pattern that I've ever made by Andrea Mowry, and it's not very big yet, but so far so good. Here it is so far. I have this little progress keeper on here that I just put together. This little, it has a jingle bell in it, and it's a candy corn. It actually came on a pair of socks that I got from my mom one year for Halloween, and one of them fell off one of the socks, so I ended up taking the other one off and have made it into a progress keeper. And so I haven't gotten very far, as you can see. I am currently in a brioche section, and I am again using my own hand-dyed yarn, Noble Character Crafts yarn, in my Night colorway, which as you can see is just a solid black. And I'm using my Solace base, which is an MCN, so 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon, fingering weight again. And so it's super soft, and I am so excited to have, it's going to be all in this Night colorway. And so I'm super excited to have a solid black shawl to have in my wardrobe. I do wear quite a bit of black, and of course it will go with everything, so I'm super excited to have this in my wardrobe eventually, but I'm also loving working on it so far. It obviously, working with black yarn isn't the easiest thing to do sometimes because it is a little bit harder to see, but it's going well, so I'm enjoying it. This, I am using the recommended needle size, which are US 4 3.5mm needles. All of my needles are Chalgu red lace. That's all that I use pretty much for all of my projects. So that is that so far. Hopefully that will grow in the next few weeks. My next work in progress is in this cute little project bag that I received in a swap with Susie, who has an Etsy shop called Tiny Toffee Designs, where she sells lots of patterns for her quilt designs. As you can see, her beautiful quilting here, I just love it. I would love to get to the point in my sewing where I could do something like this, but at this point I look at this and just think that looks unattainable. But if I practiced, I know I could, but anyway, I'm just really, I love how she makes so many different beautiful pictures with her pieced quilting, I think it's called. Go check out her Etsy shop if you are interested in quilting at all, because the designs that she has in there are so intricate and beautiful. I absolutely love them. And here I have, again, all three of these projects I've had just waiting for me to cast on for so long, and I'm so excited to finally have this project on the go now as well, although it's pretty teeny tiny so far. It's just two little toes at this point. This is the Cottage Garden Socks design by Hannah Woodhead, who is known as Yarnia Designs, and she gifted this pattern to me earlier this year, And so I'm so excited to finally be knitting this, and I am using Noble Character Crafts yarn again in my Better Than Jewels colorway for the toes, heels, and cuffs. And here it is in the cake. And this is on my Pitter Patter base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, fingering weight. And I absolutely love these colors, and I'm really enjoying how it's knitting up. It's so much fun. It's really a fun colorway to work with. So I have a little bit further to go on the toes. Obviously these are knit toe up. And then I will be switching for the main body of the sock. I will be switching to my Dew on the Grass colorway. So you can see there. I'll insert a picture here of the sock design so that you can see what they will eventually look like, because obviously you have no idea just looking at the yarn I'm showing you here. But it's a beautiful design, and I really think that this green color will look neat with that leafy design in the leg of the sock as well. So I am obviously knitting these 2 at a time on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, and that should give me the gauge of 9 stitches to 1 inch. If I'm knitting at the same gauge that I normally have. I haven't knitted socks in quite a while. I didn't look up when I finished my Sweet Bee socks, but those are the last socks that I made, which was quite a while ago. So I'm excited to have another pair of socks on the go now. Really enjoying this so far, and I'm excited to get some more work done on these as well. My next work in progress is a redo. I'm redoing my Lily cardigan sleeves, just the sleeves on my Lily cardigan. So this is a beautiful design that I made earlier this year, and it is by Amy Self-Lindland, who is also known as Amy's Little Kingdom. And I just absolutely love the design of this cardigan. You can see that pretty cable running down the back. And also here on the front side, kind of like the Double Dutch cardigan, how it has cables on the side of the neckband as well here. So I really love this design, but I have not been happy with how I made the sleeves. So I ripped them back. Well, I've done one and I have one more to do. So here is the original sleeve. And it was, the original design calls for 1x1 twisted ribbing, which I think is beautiful, but it doesn't have as much, it doesn't keep its shape. I mean, it doesn't, you can see it just kind of doesn't have much of a, it doesn't pull in very much. It kind of, I don't find that it has as much stretch as regular ribbing, 1x1, you know, not twisting it. So as you can see, the cuff is pretty much the same width as the sleeve. You know, it's about the same. And so it was not, I want it to hug my wrist is my issue. I also knitted it too long, and so I have a stitch marker here. That is where I will rip it back to, and I will start here with a few decreases to make it a little bit more snug, and then I'm doing 1x1 ribbing, just regular 1x1. So here is the sleeve that I have finished, and I'm much happier with this. The ribbing won't match the rest of the ribbing. You know, everywhere else on the neckband and the bottom hem has the twisted ribbing, which, like I said, I think it's beautiful. So it won't match exactly, but that's going to be okay. I think I have mentioned on a previous episode, but it's probably been a while, that I used Knit Picks palette for this project, and I'm very unhappy with how this is wearing. I don't know if it'll show up very well, but this yarn pills so incredibly, so quickly. It just, actually it's not, I don't feel like it is showing up very much on the video here, but I'm trying to find a spot that I can show you where the pilling is pretty bad. I have gleaned this several times, but it seems no matter how often I glean it, as soon as I put it on and wear it for a few hours, it pills up pretty quickly, and I just think it makes it look dingy. So I actually don't wear this out a lot. I wear it at home quite a bit, but I'm just not really happy with the yarn, which is such a shame because this took quite a long time for me to make, and I just love the design so much. So I may very well make this again someday in a nicer yarn, a yarn that doesn't pill as badly. But anyway, I wanted to try it on for you and show you how the two different sleeves are fitting. Okay, so you can see here the two different sleeves. They have quite a different, they're quite different here. So this is the original sleeve, and you can see that it really kind of almost flares at the cuff there, and obviously it's way too long. So I've just been wearing it cuffed up, which is okay, but isn't what I really wanted. So this one is the one that I have fixed now, and I'm super happy with that length. It seems to hit me at the right spot where it won't get in my way when I'm, doing dishes or in it. And when I roll it up, it stays. This one, when I rolled it up, it didn't stay very well. So I'm happy with this modification, and I'm excited to get this side fixed as well so that I can get even more use out of this cardigan. There is one more project that I swatched for, and I'm super excited to start this project as well, but I'm not going to cast this on until I have finished one of the projects I've already shown you, not counting this cardigan because it's just a quick, fix with the sleeve. So until I cast off one of those first 3 projects that I showed you, I won't cast this one on, just because I don't like having too many whips. I find that if I have too many whips, then when I get back to a work in progress that I've left for a while, I forget what I was doing, and then I need to relearn what I had already learned, or kind of try to figure out where I was in the pattern, and it's not as enjoyable for me. So I enjoy just having 3 projects really on the go, not counting my Afghans. I have a few different scrappy Afghans that I have on the go at all times, so those don't really count. But as far as my regular works in progress, I only like to have about 3 at a time. But anyway, I am excited to start the chunky cardigan from Nora Gaughan's Knitted Cable Source Book. And here is a picture of the design. And I love it so much. It's beautiful. I'm so excited to have this in my wardrobe as well. I think I'll get a lot of use out of it. And I swatched using the recommended needle size. I did not get gauge, but I just wanted to show you the swatch just so you can kind of see it knitted up. I really love this yarn. It is Knit Picks Simply Wool, which is 100% eco wool in a bulky weight. And this is on the Wilbur colorway. And I really love it. The feel of it is wonderful. I love the color, and it's actually pretty similar in color to the Birdie Fair Isle cardigan that I showed you I had finished last week. Well, here it is so this is the mink heather that I made my other cardigan in, and here's this one. So they're pretty similar, but the design is quite different, so it's okay. I hadn't really thought about them being similar in color until I had this swatch laying next to my Birdie Fair Isle cardigan, and I was like, oh my, those are really quite close in color, but that's okay. So anyway, the gauge calls for 13 stitches to 4 inches. The recommended needle size was 10.5, 6.5 millimeter needles, but I got 16 stitches to 4 inches. So I'm going to have to go up and try again to get 13 stitches to 4 inches. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that swatch, and hopefully, well, who knows when I'll be able to cast that on, but I am excited. I'm looking forward to being able to make that as well. Okay, I got something new when I went to Walmart yesterday, and I need I want some advice from you all. I got this Comfy Cotton Blend by Lion Brand. It's supposedly a DK weight, but people on Ravelry have mentioned that they think it's more of a worsted weight. And I got it in the colorway Driftwood, which I really love. it is 50% cotton and 50% polyester. So that's where my question comes in. I want to make this, I need to make a few more dishcloths for Christmas gifts, and I'm not sure if the polyester blend will be a good option for dishcloths. So if you have, I looked on Ravelry to see if anybody had used this yarn for dishcloths or washcloths, and nobody has, as far as I can tell. So I'm not really sure. And I also, went to the Lion brand website to see if they talk about this being a good option for dishcloths, and they don't mention it. They mention that it's good for scarves and, garments, I guess. But I would think that polyester would be okay for a washcloth, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you can give me any advice as to whether you think this 50% cotton, 50% polyester blend would work well for washcloths, I would love you to leave a comment down below or in the Ravelry show notes or something like that to let me know what your thoughts are. Because I think that this colorway is really pretty, and I think it would make nice dishcloths if it would work, if that blend would work. So I'd love any comments about that. And then another exciting thing that I received in the mail this week is my advent calendar. Yay! I hope that any of you that signed up for the mini advent calendar swap, mini skein advent calendar swap that I had organized, I hope you all are receiving your boxes and packages for your advent calendar. I had asked that those get sent in the mail no later than November 1st, so hopefully those are all in the mail and out to the recipients. I am so excited to start opening this starting December 1st. And I had so much fun putting my package together that I sent off to my partner. So everybody that was paired up, they sent to one person an advent calendar and then received from a different person. So anyway, I am just so excited to have my advent calendar, and yay, I just can't wait for December 1st. So the last thing I have to share with you is I always try to share a sample of my hand-dyed yarn from my Etsy shop. And this week I have a new shawl set to share with you that I just dyed up this week. So I received a request for a custom order, which I am always very happy to do custom orders, for you all to know that I have done several custom orders and I really enjoy doing that, and that has developed quite a few of my colorways. If I do a custom order for someone, and I think every time I have done a custom order for someone, then I have ended up adding that colorway to my shop. So I am always very glad to do custom orders according to the different colors that you like or any colors that you're looking for. And I showed you last week my Bountiful faded set that is a gradient from light tan to a deeper brown, and then it has speckles on it. And I showed you that last week, and the custom order that I received this week was for a set similar to that, but in grays instead. And so here is the set that I came up with. I can hold all 5 skeins at once here. Oh, maybe not. There we go, kind of. You can kind of see the set there. So it goes from this real light gray, which is very similar to my Choice Silver colorway, the base of it. My Choice Silver colorway is just a solid light gray. And then it goes up to this deep charcoal. And they are all speckled with teal. I'll show you this one. They all have speckles of teal, red, and charcoal. Or it almost looks black, but it is actually a charcoal color. So I really am happy with how this turned out. This is called my Glory Faded Set. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think it's really fun. And she is planning, the lady that ordered this is planning to make a sweater out of this. So I'm very excited to see that knit up as well. Yeah, so yay. It's so exciting to make new colorways and faded sets. And especially when I can fulfill a custom order and get something to a customer that they are really, especially going to love, that's just for them. But like I said, I will be putting this set in my Etsy shop as well. So if you like these this faded set as well, you can certainly check that out at my Etsy shop, which is noblecharactercrafts.etsy.com. Oh, my necklace is also something new. I received this from a lady at church. Actually, one of the ladies that I made a shawl for, the lady that I made the Granny's Geraniums shawl by Lily of Nordic Stitches, she gifted this beautiful necklace to me at church on Sunday. It's just so simple and sweet. I actually haven't taken it off since I put it on last Sunday. I've been wearing it nonstop. I just love it. It goes with everything, and it's very simple and beautiful, I think. Anyway, we have had a great week this week. My husband has continued to harvest his crops. So he's harvesting corn still. He's been able to, well, he pretty much uses up his vacation time for harvest. He has a full-time job in town, and then he just farms on the side. So he uses up his vacation days to harvest, and so he's been able to get off of work so that he can continue to harvest this week. He actually is broken down right now. He texted me this morning saying that his combine is not working, and I just got a message from him again before I sat down to record this video saying that it was still not running. So I'm really hopeful that he'll be able to fix it and get back to picking his crops, because he really doesn't have, he only has, he's on his second to last plot of land right now. So he thinks he's hoping he can be done by maybe Sunday or early next week if possible. So hopefully that all goes well. And anyway, it's kind of stressful to be a farmer sometimes, because you're just so dependent on the weather and, you know, whether you get a good crop or not, and then your machinery has to hold up as well. And of course, it doesn't break down until you're using it, and then you're kind of at a time crunch to get the crops out. And anyway, it is a little bit stressful sometimes. But other than that, we've been doing great. Actually, today, 2 of my kids are sick. One woke up vomiting, but seems to be better now, which happens a lot with my kids anyway, and probably everybody's kids, that they wake up and they're sick, and then by noon they're like, oh no, I'm fine now. So I think he's fine now, so that's good. And then my little girl has a headache today. So anyway, there's a few that are down, and she's actually taking a nap right now. So hopefully when she wakes up, she'll be feeling a lot better. But other than that, we've all been pretty well this week. The kids have really enjoyed taking turns riding in the combine with my husband, so that's always fun for them, especially the boys. My daughter's not quite as interested like me. I'm not very interested either, but the boys love it. They just absolutely love riding in the combine, so they've been taking turns doing that and having a ton of fun with that. So I think that's all that I have to share this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that so much, and subscribe to this channel if you would like as well. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.